Everyone loves a good mystery. From the dawn of time, humans have been on a quest to discover the cause and meaning behind everything. We've also been particularly fascinated by those that don't seem to have a simple explanation. From Scooby-Doo to Nancy Drew, people have been obsessed with mysteries, both fictional and real. Part of the fun is exploring possible explanations and even creating some explanations of our own, no matter how harebrained they might seem. That's why in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at 7 of the world's mysteries that remain unsolved to this day. Number 7. Who was Jack the Ripper? In the summer of 1888, the streets of London were terrorized by a serial killer known as Jack the Ripper. A crazed killer was murdering and mutilating the street-walking prostitutes, leaving behind scenes so ghastly that some believe the photographs taken of the bodies were hoaxes. London police were helpless in their efforts to discover the identity of the killer. What's more is that they were taunted by a series of letters written by someone claiming responsibility for the killings who called himself Jack the Ripper. Needless to say, scholars to this day can't even agree upon whether or not these letters were written by the actual perpetrator of these heinous crimes. Jack the Ripper, of course, has been the inspiration for many works of fiction, as well as countless hours of speculation and conspiracy theories amongst mystery enthusiasts. Recently, it was suggested that a woman named Lizzie Williams was the culprit, though. Like many other theories before it, it has been met with a fair amount of criticism and detractors. Unfortunately for the victims, it seems unlikely that the true identity of Jack the Ripper will ever be uncovered. Number 6. Where is Jimmy Hoffa? The story and disappearance of Jimmy Hoffa was once again popularized by the recent Martin Scorsese film, The Irishman, starring Robert De Niro and Al Pacino, which was released on Netflix in 2019. For those unfamiliar with the story, Jimmy Hoffa was a union leader of one of the most famous unions in the 60s and 70s, the Teamsters. Hoffa was known to be involved in organized crime and even served jail time on corruption charges involving illegal donations to the Nixon campaign. On July 30th, 1975, Hoffa disappeared from Oakland County and is long been since presumed dead. The whereabouts of Hoffa's remains have been the butt of many jokes in popular culture, as many people have come up with theories about where his body could have been dumped. A few hitmen have claimed responsibility for the hit, including Richard the Iceman Kuklinski, as well as Frank Sheeran, the main protagonist of Scorsese's film. Number 5. Where is Cleopatra's tomb? According to contemporary sources, Cleopatra VII and her lover, Mark Antony, were buried together after they passed away in 30 BC. However, the location of the tomb remains unknown. Historical writer Plutarch, who lived more than 100 years after the deaths of Cleopatra and Antony, claimed that the tomb was near the temple of the Egyptian goddess Isis. It was a marvel of architecture adorned with ivory pillars and sparkling emeralds and pearls. There have been many efforts to locate the tomb, to no avail. In 2010, the Ministry for Egyptian Antiquities launched an excavation effort near Alexandria in an attempt to locate the legendary crypt. They were unsuccessful in this endeavor, but it wasn't all for naught, as the excavation teams made other interesting and important archaeological discoveries. Some have speculated that raiders may have plundered the tomb, wherever it may be, to the point of making it unrecognizable. Number 4. Is there a money pit on Oak Island? Treasure hunters around the world are familiar with the legendary tale of Captain William Kidd's secret money pit, buried somewhere on Oak Island, a small island located off the coast of Nova Scotia in Canada. There have been countless efforts to locate this fabled treasure chest, but to this day it remains undiscovered. You would think that might have dissuaded people, but to this day, people continue to hunt for the gold. The adventures of such excursions were captivated on the History Channel's show Curse of Oak Island, which is still running today. You can catch the episodes on Netflix. Number 3. What happened to the Ark of the Covenant? According to historical and biblical sources, the Ark of the Covenant was what carried the tablets of the Ten Commandments as first given by God to Moses. The Ark was kept in the first temple, a place of worship used by the Jewish people, where it remained safe until 587 BC. King Nebuchadnezzar II sacked Jerusalem and destroyed the temple. However, sources claim that the Ark was saved as it was secretly exported out of Jerusalem and into Babylon, where it was hidden. Unfortunately, it was perhaps hidden a bit too well, as the location of the Ark remains unknown to this day. There has been much speculation as to the whereabouts of the coveted tablets, with some saying they remain hidden somewhere in Ethiopia. Others still suggest that there was a sort of divine intervention and that the ark won't reappear again until the Messiah arises. Number 2. Did the Hanging Gardens of Babylon exist? Another ancient mystery to make our list is the fabled Hanging Gardens of Babylon. Many ancient writers cite the gardens as a marvel to behold, calling them a wonder of the world. Ancient historian Philo of Byzantium stated that the gardens had, quote, plants cultivated at a height above ground level, and the roots of the trees were embedded in an upper terrace rather than in the earth. Babylon has been excavated to great lengths, but evidence of the Hanging Gardens has not been discovered. This has led many archaeologists to question whether or not the gardens ever existed. It was suggested in a 2013 book by a researcher at the University of Oxford that the gardens were located in Nineveh instead of Babylon. However, as Nineveh and Babylon were subject to much raiding and wars, it remains unlikely that any concrete evidence will ever rise. Number 1. Was there a city of Atlantis? Atlantis is another ancient city whose legendary status has been a staple of many works of pop culture. The Greek philosopher Plato first wrote of Atlantis, a city of unparalleled technological advances in the ancient world that was unfortunately swept away by the ocean. There aren't many scholars who take this tale as being literally true, but many believe it was inspired by actual events. Some historians have speculated that the Minoan civilization was the inspiration for Atlantis, a population that thrived on the island of Crete before being wiped out by a volcanic eruption. Additionally, the Minoans were overtaken by the Mainoan members of Greece. This could have been the inspiration for the conflict between Atlantis and Athens in Plato's writing. Regardless, it is a mystery that is very likely to remain a mystery. That wraps things up for this video. What do you guys think of our list? Are you a mystery junkie? Are there any mysteries we missed that should have been included? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button to see similar content in the future.
Listen.